Good evening. I'm Pete Richmond, Chair of the OLE Foundation, and it's our pleasure on behalf of all of OLE to welcome you to the state of OLE. Tonight, we're at our South Napa campus, sponsored by the Napa Valley Vintners, and we want to take this opportunity to spend some time with you this evening, walking you through some of the wonderful things we're doing here at OLE. It's my pleasure right now to introduce Alicia Hardy, CEO of OLE, and really the person who has shepherded us through this challenging time in our community and our country as we deal with COVID and has brought us to the point we are today. Thank you very much. Alicia?
Right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and joining us for this year's annual State of OLE. And thank you, Pete Richmond, our Foundation Board Chair, and thank you to all of the members of our Foundation Board, as well as our OLE Health Board. You volunteer your time, you bring your passion, you support us in so many ways. And thank you too to our donors. This evening is really about celebrating and recognizing the tremendous impact that your donations have. We wouldn't be here caring for 40,000 of our most vulnerable patients without your support. So tonight we bring you to our newest facility, just over a year old, the Napa Valley Vintners South Napa campus. The Napa Valley Vintners are longtime supporters of OLE Health, and their $6 million gift started our capital campaign that made this building possible. Thank you to all of the donors who were part of that capital campaign, who invested in this facility, and thank you to our donors who have supported us in any way to continue to provide services and help us deliver care to our community. I'm proud and excited to share our program tonight. It's going to give you an up-close and personal view into each of the services that we offer here. It will also give you the opportunity to get to know our amazing staff and leaders that we have working in each of our service areas. And there's a few themes that you're going to hear throughout the program tonight. The first is about the need. Our challenges continue to come, and the need of our community continues to grow. The second is about our unique OLE Health patient-centered model of care. This building was designed to support our team-based model, and it's so inspiring to hear how our patients have benefited from integrated care in this building. And finally, you'll hear about the amazing passion, commitment, and dedication of our employees who continually, day after day, go above and beyond to help our patients. So let's talk about the need. Year over year, our patient population continues to grow. In the past 5 years, we've experienced a 25% increase in total visits. Dental and behavioral health have grown even more than any other service line. Our largest growing demographic are our seniors. We've had a 34% increase in the past 5 years, and all of this growth has happened prior to COVID-19 and the recent wildfires. Just since March, since COVID-19 started, we've seen almost 3,200 new patients. And as always, OLE Health has stepped up to meet that need. When our challenges began in March, our OLE Health team responded immediately. We completely restructured our operations, converted our in-person care to telehealth visits. We supported our employees to work from home, and our IT team provided the technology infrastructure needed to make telehealth possible. I'm so proud of how our team came together and proud that we never once, not even for one day, did we discontinue service to our patients. We found innovative ways to deliver acute and primary care, behavioral health, nutrition, curbside pharmacy services, and dental care with the new COVID-safe guidelines. With unemployment rising and people losing their employer-based health insurance, we anticipate that need is going to continue to rise. Our behavioral health team has seen a 200% increase in demand since the onset of COVID and the glass fire. OLE Health is the only care provider in our community that never turns anyone away or refuses a service to anyone. In fact, we're the only option for those in our community who are uninsured and without health insurance. I also want to underscore that this building, our Napa Valley Vintners South Napa campus, this became the central operation for OLE Health in the time of COVID. The layout, the space that we have, the design, it allowed for the appropriate social distancing, and it also allowed us to set up the only walk-up testing site in Napa County for COVID-19. We knew over a year ago that we needed this facility, but we never could have anticipated how critical this building would become when we first opened a year ago. And in this building, we're able to provide our team-based model of care. So we have several of the people you'll hear from today, our providers and team members. They'll give you real-time examples of how this works. But in essence, having so many services available under one roof, it really does make a difference for our patients and their health. At OLE Health, we do things differently. I believe we have the best model of care because we put our patients in the center of a whole team of professionals, and we provide them the services that they need when and where they need them. And finally, I want to recognize our employees, our clinical and operational leaders, and our entire OLE Health team. Just today, we celebrated our annual Years of Service Award to celebrate all of our employees with milestone anniversaries. And of the 33 employees who were celebrated this afternoon, we had 245 collective years of service to OLE. 10 years, 20 years, 25 years. This level of passion for our work, the dedication to our mission, this is really what makes OLE Health such a special place. Our employee of 25 years shared today that even though 25 years is a long time, it doesn't feel like a long time when you love what you do. And then she said she can't wait for the next 25 years. But that commitment is what our patients feel when they come to OLE. And that is what you are going to see and hear tonight from our employees that you meet. This passion and compassion that our employees have is what inspires me every single day. So on that note, I'm excited to introduce our program. This has been created to make you feel like you are right here with us, here at OLE Health's Napa Valley Ventnor South Napa campus, our beautiful 3-story, 30,000 square foot building, state-of-the-art with more services than OLE has ever before offered, including our very own pharmacy and eye care. Since we started seeing patients last June in 2019, 56,000 visits have taken place in this facility alone. That means 56,000 moments where someone's life was made better and someone's health was impacted in a positive way. As you will see in the following department tours, there are many patient stories, beautiful stories that have taken place just within these walls at 300 Hartle Court. We'll be showing you a short video tour of each department. They're each about 5 minutes or so in length. And then I'll jump back in for a live Q&A session with our providers after each department tour. So please do speak up with your questions and comments. That's why we're here tonight. And we really love to talk about what we do. We want to share as much information with you as possible. So I hope that you enjoy the evening that we have prepared. And let's roll the video. As we start, you will see that our first piece that we will introduce is the Duncan Pharmacy. And I want to make a very special thank you to David and Carrie Duncan. You'll notice that their name is above our pharmacy. This is the first pharmacy that OLE Health has ever owned. We have contracted with many pharmacies to provide care to our patients, but South Napa campus has a unique situation in that we actually own the license, and our pharmacists are able to fully integrate within our electronic medical record, which makes the care and experience for our patients even more seamless. Since we opened our pharmacy on December 9th, we provided over 10,000 prescriptions and over 3,000 patients served. Over 33% of those patients were uninsured, and they benefited from our low-cost prescription drug pricing. So now I'd like to introduce Dr. Tran, who will speak about his pharmacy. Turn this off.
Good evening. I guess it is evening time now. My name is Nia Tran. I'm a pharmacist here at South Napa Campus Pharmacy. So I've been here for the past 9 months now, ever since we opened in December. It's been such a pleasure to work with everyone here, and especially with our community in terms of seeing patients coming in and able to provide them with medication needs. So it's just been very rewarding. It's a journey in the past 9 months, but definitely rewarding for so far. Coming here as a first generation, I'm the only person in the family who has the ability and the privilege of going through school and have a doctorate degree. So that's very rare. And I want the opportunity to give back. And I think starting with OLE is a great place to do that. We've seen a lot of times we hear Napa is very well known for the wineries and tourists, but there's a lot of underserved communities in this particular community. So I think it's a great opportunity for me to able to contribute and then put my education to good use. So, it's a great start so far. I personally feel like if I were to treat that particular patient as if he or she were my mom or my dad, if they were to come into a pharmacy, I want that pharmacist to pay attention to them, to ask the right questions, and to provide a level of service that I would have done if it was my relative or my parents. Oftentimes, when they step in our doors, we have no idea what happened behind the scene. I think most recently was a patient actually discharged from hospital. And there were a lot of moving parts going from hospital to his specialist to his local providers here. And unfortunately, there were, the ball was dropped right in between, and he's starting to experience a lot of palpitations. So I got a prescription. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't match versus what you initially were prescribed. So I immediately pick up the phone, and luckily that's the beauty of working here is like all the providers are accessible. Picked up the phone, called the PCP, and we were able to resolve and send him to with an urgent referral to the cardiologist to make sure that he's actually being seen and followed through because his condition could be life-threatening. Let's take a little tour behind my pharmacy. Like I said, it's not big, but it actually has a lot of impactful materials that would make a difference for the community. All right, so this is the back entrance of pharmacy. Only authorized personnel have access to this, but you guys are more than welcome. So this is where we store medications, over-the-counter products, topicals, where a lot of patients actually have needs for them. And then more with inhalers where we keep insulin refrigerated items over here. And it's pretty much spread out. We'll maximize the current space that we have here. So we're doing about 100 scripts a week. So we're climbing up to where we need to be. So this is where we store a lot of our inventories. So here, where our what we consider fast mover medications that we dispense to patients consistently, regularly on a daily basis. And in the far right is where we keep the medication that has been prepared. And I just want to introduce very quickly my right-hand person. This is Michelle. Michelle is the staple of our success here at SNC, actually. My Spanish is very limited. So as you can imagine, 85–90% of our patients here speak Spanish with little English. So it'd be very challenging for me to have an effective conversation with them. She's the one who actually helped me translate and sometimes bridge that communication gaps. So my right-hand person, I couldn't have done it without her. So kudos, thank you, Michelle. So as you can see, this is pretty much where the magic happens, right? But as a last note, we would have been here and would not have been able to contribute and live my vision actually is to give back to the community without you, the donors who make OLE happens, right? So thank you so much for all that you've done to allow our vision and to be alive and to help our patient be healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tran. It's wonderful to see the service that's being provided. And I'd love to hear you speak just a little bit about what happened after the glass fire. As we know, one of the things that is most common with people who are displaced and suddenly have to leave their homes, they don't often think to grab their medications. Many people might be on chronic medications that they need to be taking all the time. And so I'd love to hear you speak about how our integrated system was able to better benefit patients than perhaps just a regular retail pharmacy.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Alicia, for the introduction. With the glass fire, a lot of our patients, especially up Valley, were evacuated due to the mandatory evacuation. A lot of them, like I said, the last thing that they had in mind was to grab their medications because they want to make sure that they themselves, as well as their family members, are safely evacuated from the area and to a more safe harboring place. Unfortunately, a lot of our patients, I believe at least 30–40 patients were in the situations where they did not have the medications, some of them without insulin, and with type 1, type 2 diabetes, they need insulin in order to be healthy and able to be functional. With our integrated system, just how Alicia had mentioned earlier, with the team-based focus and electronic health records, I was able to partner up with providers of Valley, contact Dr. Bermudez and her team to make sure there's a seamless transition, either making sure that the medication they're taking are appropriate or whatever gaps in care, or getting any type of emergency refills. So that way the patient can have access to the medications. So with that kind of teamwork approach, I was able to contact the insurance company, partner up with our sister pharmacies, Peartree Lane locations, and we were able to provide medications for those patients, sometimes without any cost, because we were able to get an override from their insurance company, or if they were have to pay out of pocket, it's very insignificant amount, because the beauty of us being an in-house pharmacy is we're able to provide those patients with 340B book pricing. And then they can move on with their lives, and that's the last thing that they have to worry about is, are they going to be able to get their medication and stay healthy? So we were able to remove that particular obstacle from their plates, and I think without being here in having an in-house pharmacy, retail pharmacy would be a very challenge obstacles to overcome in order to provide to those patients.
Thank you. I think that is absolutely true. And for people that weren't part of our system to try to contact their pharmacy, they may have waited days or weeks if they got their prescription at all. So it was a huge service. We did get another question that came in asking how many people work in your pharmacy, Dr. Tran?
So right now, it's only myself as a pharmacist and Michelle, whom you just met on our little tour. So there's two of us, and we're cranking it on, making sure that we fill about close to 100 prescriptions a day now, so about 500 a week. And like I said, with the integrated system in place, I don't feel as stressed comparing to working in retail setting, because everything is integrated. All the resources we have available, as well as like state-of-the-art technology, allow us to have that seamless communication between pharmacy and providers. So even though there's only two people running the show, but I feel very confident and feel very relaxed, because I know that everything I've done is being on a team base and being supported, and without any type of stress factors that's needed to be on.
Great. So I'm not seeing any more questions, so I think we'll go ahead. Thank you so much, Dr. Tran, for being here and for all that you and your team do. I'd like to go ahead and introduce our next department, which is thanks to Stacy Jacobs, who funded our first ever beautiful optometry center. It's so exciting to be able to offer optometry services at OLE Health. We were fortunate enough to partner with a local provider in the community who's contracting with us, who's familiar with our patient population, Dr. Herbert. He'll speak a little bit about the services that we offer here at South Napa in our optometry care center.
I'm Dr. Sam Herbert. I'm an optometrist here at OLE Health. And I became an optometrist to be able to help people see better. And we joined up here at OLE because we really believe in serving the underprivileged population. This is walking in the front door. This is our dispensary. So patients are able to choose from a wide variety of kids, plastics, metals that are all covered by their partnership insurance. And then we also have a good budget selection of frames and lenses for those that are private as well. So moving farther into the back of the practice where all the exam rooms and everything are, we've got 2 exam rooms with new state-of-the-art equipment, very large lab to build and make sure the glasses are all put together correctly. So this is the second exam room. And then we also have a pre-testing station here in the back where our technicians work from to pre-test all of the patients. So where we have autorefractor, non-contact tonometer, and to make this a nice, smooth process. So we do all exams. We do diabetic exams, and red eyes, glasses visits, basically all comprehensive eye care. So if anyone is in need of surgery or things like that, then we refer them out to the right people to make sure that they're well taken care of. So what makes OLE optometry unique is it really provides the everyone here the ability to consult for eye care for both the doctors upstairs when they have a patient actually come to them, and when they need some sort of eye care, they're able to call us and we're able to consult with them, or they're able to walk the patient down here just to make an appointment with them. And we can, if it's an emergency, see them that day, or put them on the schedule to see if it's not an emergency, to just get them some new glasses. A great patient story on that very example. We had a patient come in, was seen upstairs by one of the doctors, was complaining about feeling something in their eye. They thought it was a possible foreign body that was stuck under a lid or something like that. So they brought them down here. We saw them that day, and the patient was diabetic. And it turned out that it was actually a fourth cranial nerve palsy, and the patient wasn't able to actually open their eye. And they had double vision, and that's a much more emergent scenario. So we got them referred out to get proper care right away. But it started off with just being able to be the doctor getting the help and getting a proper eye exam to find out that there was an urgent situation that was happening, and we were able to get that patient taken care of. I just really wanted to thank the donors for everything that they've done to give us this beautiful facility and this state-of-the-art building that is such a pleasure to work in and to care for all of these patients.
Thank you so much, Dr. Herbert. I've noticed that you have done quite a few visits with our patients and had, I think, 2,000 optometry patients to date, and the numbers continue to grow as we know there's quite a bit of need here. I'm curious, can you speak to what type of patient feedback you've gotten just from people who are bilingual and maybe coming here and are able to receive bilingual optometry care in their primary care medical home?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So they love, I always hear thank yous. They love being able to just schedule an appointment here to get their glasses or get their glasses fixed, or just being able to come to one place to get all of their care. So they're constantly saying thank you for what we're able to do.
Great. We also have a question asking how many children you see. Do we have a high percentage of children, and what is the percentage of children versus adults that you see in your practice?
Typically every day, probably 30% of the patients are typically under the age of 18. It's typically my afternoon is kids. So I don't have exact numbers in front of me, but I would guess it's at least 30%.
Great. Is this the first time that you've practiced in this type of integrated model? And if so, can you speak to how it feels different on the provider side to be part of an integrated team?
Yes, this is the first time we've been in, that I've been in an integrated model like this, and it's great because I don't have to go over a lot of the history with them. They've already had that with their doctor, and I can see that, and it helps me give the proper care to those patients. I'm not constantly fishing. For example, what was what was their last A1C? And most of the time the patient doesn't remember. I'm just able to look that up, and it definitely helps me provide better care for the patients.
Wonderful. So just highlighting again that importance of being able to access the integrated health record, which I believe both Dr. Tran and Dr. Herbert spoke to, because we're able to really coordinate that care for the patient. So thank you so much, Dr. Herbert and your team, for being here with us, for being our partners and providing such amazing care to our patients.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Great. So the next feature that we're going to introduce is our family medicine practice. Family medicine really is the heart of primary care, and I'm so happy to introduce Dr. Jen Wilson. She's been here for 14 years at OLE Health, and her passion and commitment to our patients speaks for itself. I think you'll hear as she describes her journey to OLE that it was a one-stop journey because OLE was her first and only choice of the place that she wanted to work and share her wonderful talents and skills. She's going to take us through what primary care looks like from the family medicine side, as well as a tour of our homeless shelter, which is just next door to us from the South Napa campus, and the care that she and her team provide right there for our patients who are experiencing homelessness so that they can receive care in a comfortable and safe environment. So thank you, Dr. Jen, and I will turn it over to you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jen Wilson. I'm one of the family physicians here at OLE Health. I've been here for 14 years. We are currently in our South Napa campus, our newest facility, and I'm going to take you on a little tour to the exam room area. So I'll show you one of our standard exam rooms. We have 9 in this floor. Come on in. So our exam room has been set up so that we have both an examination space and a talking space. So if people come with support, with family members, sometimes adults bring their children, elders bring their caregivers. So we tend to have lots of people in the exam room, and we've set this up so that we can all move with ease and feel comfortable that it's a little bit more of an intimate space. Each room has a computer so that we have access to the electronic health record. Our new equipment has the ability to check someone's vitals while they're sitting on the exam table, so they don't have to move through multiple spaces, and is electronic, so it goes right into our electronic health record. All of the rooms are standardized, so depending on if I'm in room 1 or in room 9, I'll find all of my equipment in all of the cabinets in the same space, so we don't have to fumble. This is our soiled utility where all of our medical assistants do our in-house lab testing, which is really convenient. So point of care tests can be evaluated and then the results given to the patient in the moment. In here, we have our procedure space. So our primary care patients who require some specialty level of care can come in and have lumps and bumps removed. We can do biopsies. We can do small procedures removing skin cancers. We do many women's health procedures, reproductive health procedures. We have 2 specialists, 2 GYN specialists who do very specialized GYN care so that we don't have to refer our patients out because they, again, trust our providers here, and being able to have that housed all in one space is really pretty amazing. We also have casting supplies for our young athletes who get injured, and they can come to us and have their splint removed and their cast placed. And then we also have the cast removal equipment. We also do a lot of ER follow-up. So people may be weekend warriors and have injuries, have stitches, and then they come to us to have those removed so they don't have another expensive ER bill. So that's our space here in our South Napa campus. And now I'm going to take you next door to our facility where we serve our homeless community. So we just took our long commute from the South Napa campus across the parking lot to the South Napa shelter. This is a shelter for homeless adults. And on any given night, there are 69 beds to accommodate folks. I have 2 exam rooms. They are equal in size and equipment. There's a few extra pieces in here because we've done some rearranging for COVID. We do have some additional space here. We have our own phlebotomy area. This is an autoclave for when our dentist and his assistant is here to autoclave and sterilize their equipment. And we do have a small lab space where we can do some of the point of care testing that we do next door. Having the phlebotomy space here has been incredible. We've been able to engage people in care by drawing labs in the moment rather than giving them an order and asking them to make the effort to get to the lab. So we've captured a lot more chronic disease outcomes measures because we've been able to offer that service to them in the moment. Why do I do what I do? So I am a family medicine by training. I have a master's in public health. And what's important to me is the health of the entire community. So I talk about using my master's of public health as influencing my community-oriented primary care. So public health is the good of one versus the good of many. But as a provider, I'm one-on-one in the exam room. And so sometimes those concepts are a bit at odds. But I use the master's in public health to think about community needs and apply that to the individual that's in front of me because they're part of a community, they're part of a family, and using that context helps me influence their health. So OLE was my only choice. OLE is the only place that I applied out of residency. I have a funny story. While I was a resident, I was given a flyer about OLE hiring, and one of my co-residents actually passed the flyer along to me and said, Jen, you have to go check out these people. They're your people. So she knew that I wanted to do community medicine. I came to OLE 14 years ago in July of 2006, and this shelter space opened in October of that year. So I was fresh out of residency, 4 months into working at OLE, and I met a gentleman who was very challenged by his substance use disorder. So he was really struggling with alcoholism. And he also had other chronic medical conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and a family history of coronary artery disease. 3 years ago, he made a commitment to himself and his daughter, who graduated high school, that he was going to see her through college and he was going to help her pay for college. And he found out that as a veteran, he had veterans benefits coming to him that he wasn't aware of. So we got him hooked up with the Veterans Association. He was able to maintain his sobriety. He got his veterans benefits, including the equivalent of the GI Bill, which he was able to use for his daughter to go to school. He has since been housed with a VA voucher. And for the last 3 years, he's maintained his sobriety. She is about to graduate from college, and he has become unofficial liaison for the homeless community and bringing them into care and helping them understand that OLE is a partner in their health, that we are safe, that we are accessible, and that even if they're not ready, we'll still be here when they are. So it's been an incredible success. So in closing, I just wanted to say thank you to all of our donors. You really make what we do possible. Without funding and support, we wouldn't be able to offer these services to our community. And so from all of the providers and all of our patients, we thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wilson. Both of the story of your own journey and the story of how you've helped our patients succeed is really inspiring, and I think really speaks to what we do best here at OLE, which is that investment of a relationship, the trust that you create, and really believing that people can achieve their own wellness goals and supporting them in their journey. So thank you for sharing. We do have a couple questions that have come up in the chat. One is asking, how have you managed primary care during the pandemic? How has it changed?
Thank you for asking. That's actually a great question. So primary care is really focused on prevention strategies. And thankfully for many cancer preventions and chronic disease management, we can offer suggestions and send lab requests to the patient's home, and they can make it to the lab without actually having to come in for care. So we've been able to make a pivot to telemedicine and still engage people, teaching them how to monitor their blood pressure or their blood sugar on their own, and engaging them through the video or through the telephone to help encourage them to maintain their self-management and not lose sight of their wellness goals.
Great. And I think we can all agree that while this has been an incredibly challenging time, some things that Jen just mentioned are aspects that we'll continue to do in primary care. So learning how to engage our patients at home, the virtual care, removing barriers such as transportation, helping patients monitor their own blood sugars or blood pressures is actually something that could help us evolve as a system. So while it's been challenging, I'd say it's also been exciting as well. Another question that you have is in relation to the homeless shelter, and just speak a little bit more about the relationship that we've had with them, when it started, how it evolved.
That's a great question. So that space was offered to us back in October of 2006. So the county partnered with the Gasser Foundation to create that space, and they brought in OLE to provide primary care services. The original intention was that I would provide urgent care level of services, but since I've been there for 14 years, I've established relationships with many of the individuals. And so we've been able to focus on their chronic disease management and really engage them in preventative strategies. Many of them have decided that they wanted to commit to working on their substance use disorder or mental health. And a good number of the folks actually don't have either of those conditions. They just have financial barriers to housing. And so we've been able to work with community partners. Our community outreach and care network and Abode Services have really been amazing partners to help offer resources for low-income housing opportunities and get people back on their feet. The primary goal is to get income, so helping people find work that they are capable of doing and sustaining, and then ultimately finding housing.
Great. And then one final question is, are we still providing same-day walk-in care? What does that look like today?
That's another good question. So we don't do the traditional concept of walk-in care. We are trying to monitor and manage who does come into the health center to maintain safety for both the staff and the other patients. So everyone who enters the health care facility does need to be screened for COVID-related symptoms. We do have a temperature check, and we are asking that people are calling for access to appointments. And so our third next available is 2 days, which is pretty remarkable. We actually do have quite a bit of access for people who need urgent appointments. And we also have nursing triage available if, for whatever reason, we were full for that day and couldn't offer them an in-person or phone visit.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Jen, for your time. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
So next up, we're going to introduce yet another very innovative and unique concept that we have here at our South Napa campus. We'll run a couple segments together because they do go hand in hand. But first, this is our community garden. And I can say not very many community health centers can say that they have a community garden on site. I want to say a very special thank you and heartfelt thank you to Dariush and Shapar Khalidi for our community garden. It was truly their investment and vision that helped bring it to fruition. From what came out of a request from patients to understand better how they can eat healthfully, how they can balance their nutrition. And it was truly Dariush and Shapar that made it happen. So thank you. It's beautiful. We will show you a little tour in a moment. And we'll also connect how the garden ties into our teaching kitchen, another unique aspect of our building, and our overall nutrition and health education program. So I'm happy to introduce Rosalie Camper. She's our Director of Nutrition, Health Education, and Perinatal Services, who will speak about the many services that she oversees and the impact that they have.
Hi, my name is Rosalie. I'm the Director of Nutrition, Health Education, and Perinatal Services at OLE Health. I'm also a registered dietitian by licensure and practice. So I oversee the registered dietitians, the comprehensive perinatal health workers, as well as our health education team, including our garden and culinary programs. Starting with our nutrition team, which is our registered dietitian nutritionists. They currently see everything from our pediatric patients all the way through our elderly age patients. So we provide nutrition education, which yes, definitely includes eating healthfully, but also looks at the whole spectrum of health and wellness and whole person wellness, including sleep patterns and stress levels and what's going on in your life and how your lifestyle impacts what's going on with you medically speaking. So we generally have about 45 minutes with each patient to just do a comprehensive assessment of what their health and wellness and lifestyle currently is. And then we closely support our medical providers in then helping them achieve some of their clinical and medical outcomes. Additionally, we also have our comprehensive perinatal health workers, and they are part of what we call our comprehensive perinatal services program. Some of our key roles as perinatal educators is really not only providing that programmatic care of nutrition, health education, and behavioral health, but also linking them in with our certified nurse midwife or an OB provider at the Queen of the Valley Hospital. Additionally, some of our very vital roles as perinatal educators is also for the postpartum support of patients. And we work very closely with our pediatric team to also support our newborn care and lactation services. So additionally, one of our other aspects of the nutrition and health education component of what we do here at OLE is our OLE Garden and OLE Kitchen that's located here at the South Napa campus. The goals and overarching reason that we have these two opportunities for education for patients is that they actually asked us for these resources. So as dietitians, we've often taught with our fake plastic food, and patients have asked for the real food. They also want to know that it's healthful and tastes good. There's a big misnomer that eating healthfully doesn't taste good and is expensive. Additionally, the garden to plate concept. So just really showing patients where does their food come from, that they can grow it in a manner that's sustainable. They don't need a large area to do that. So our goal is to also say, let's take this pepper and grow it in 3 different ways. You don't need to have a massive garden or tons of dirt, but that you can also grow it on your patio or in your windowsill. And then how do we translate that to actually preparing it in a manner that's healthful? So we've planted not only some familiar, but also some unfamiliar, just to give patients the whole spectrum of what they could include in their health. And then finally, we've also have the goal to do what we call horticultural therapy, which addresses and tries to get people in the garden for working with, let's say, spectrum disorders or sensory concerns, especially addressing depression and anxiety, or mental and behavioral health therapies that can hugely be helped by getting people outside to look at their overall health and wellness. Welcome to our nutrition office. This is where we see patients. Particularly during COVID, we've had to add this addition of the plexiglass screens. But normally this is where we see anyone, again, pediatric age all the way up to elderly. Our primary thing that we see at OLE Health as far as registered dietitian nutritionist is chronic disease management. So I'd say about 80% of what we get referred is for diabetes in particular. A lot of what we talk about is food. So what we do often use is we do have a lot of our fake food. And so we're often demonstrating what is a portion size, what timing, amounts of food, et cetera, things that could affect, for example, if you have diabetes, your blood sugar levels. But we also address a lot of other things as well. Again, as I talked before, the whole person wellness piece.
I'm Emily Newman, a garden and culinary wellness educator. I love to teach people about gardens and get them engaged in the natural world because I grew up in Napa Valley. I'm a 4th generation Napan, and I grew up in my grandparents' backyard gardens. Okay, so I'll take you on a little tour of the garden. Besides fruits and vegetables, another thing I've been enjoying growing in here to share is our medicinal herbs and different herbs that can be used to make herbal infusions or herbal teas. On the really, really hot days this summer, I made a lemon verbena iced tea, non-caffeinated and unsweetened, and handed it out to people who were passing by or our neighbors. So it's fun to introduce people to vegetables that they might not be very familiar with or comfortable with. Like, for example, eggplant. We grew 5 different types of eggplant. And so it gave me an opportunity when giving it away to kind of educate people about how to prepare eggplant. Now I'll show you the teaching kitchen and tell you about what we do there. So one of the many benefits of having a garden here is that we're able to share the fruits and vegetables that we grow with our neighbors living in homelessness. And because they don't have much access to fresh food, they're super appreciative of it. And it's even better that they get to watch it grow themselves. So this is a chili pepper infused vinegar. Somewhat like a piqué or a hot sauce. And we're making these with the chili peppers that we grew over the summer and wanted to preserve them in some way. And
thank you so much, Rosalie and Emily, for sharing about the services. I'm curious, we do see at OLE Health almost 9,000 pediatric patients. That's 1 in 4 children in Napa County. And as we know from the diagnoses that we see, over half of those pediatric patients are considered overweight or obese. Could you speak a little bit, Rosalie, about how your program and your interventions can really change the course of a child's life when they get the type of education that you provide? Can you unmute yourself, Rosalie?
Thank you so much. Apologies. Thank you, everyone, also for being here tonight. Yeah, so we do see, again, the whole spectrum of peds patients all the way up to adult. And one of the neatest things that we see with the pediatric population is not only that our interventions impact them, but realistically, actually, patients such as a 3 or 4-year-old is likely not going to the store themselves and buying the food. So who we're actually really working with is the parents or caregivers or guardians. And so when we are able to counsel and educate not only that child, but the entire family, really the entire family's lifestyle ends up being changed, and parents just walk away with this light bulb moment of, aha. I just, in fact, had that this week that she says, wow, I never even was able to look at it from your perspective that you kind of helped me see. And so thank you for that.
Great. And I know, unfortunately, with the pandemic, some of our activities that we had prepared for and planned for, both in the community garden and the teaching kitchen, have been somewhat limited, standing by ready for post-pandemic. But you have been able to do quite a bit just in cultivating the garden and on some scale, some food giveaways and teaching with our community. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, so we've had the amazing opportunity to actually, thankfully, have our garden outside. And so that still provided us the ability to interface with the community and with our patients. One of the particular events that we were able to do months back was to actually engage our staff to plant cucumber seeds. We planted over 300 plants. Then we propagated those seeds, grew them actually on our staff patio, had staff volunteers at OLE water them. And then we were able to do what we called cucumber plant giveaway. So that's part of our model of not just growing it and giving it to people, but also teaching them how to grow. And we gave the plants away with instructions of how to water and care for. And we impacted over 600 individuals in that cucumber giveaway.
Wow, it's amazing. Thank you so much. One of the things that we repeatedly hear feedback from your team, Rosalie, and your garden team and all of your health educators is that really the knowledge of what it means to have access to the food, prepare the food. It's not that there is resistance to eating differently or more healthy. It's just understanding what that looks like. I learned quite a bit from your team on different ways to prepare vegetables that we might not have tried before. And I think you get great feedback from your families and some excitement about being together in the kitchen and cooking together differently. So kudos to everything that you're doing and the impact that you're making. It's really, really remarkable. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia.
So our next department that we're going to look at is our Women's Health Department. This is an amazing service that we have. Dr. Lynette Layton is our clinical leader who oversees women's health. As you'll hear, she has an inherent passion for the work that she does, and she'll share her story of how she came to be a family physician and how she came to choose OLE. I'd like to highlight that we have women's health fully integrated into our primary care setting. That's a very unique integrated model. Again, I keep speaking to integration because it really does make a difference. Many other practices might be separate or apart from the primary care, but for us, we create one comprehensive medical home. So I'm happy to hear from Dr. Lynette Layton on all of the work that she's doing for women's health in our community.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lynette Layton. I'm the Director of Women's Health at OLE Health. At this South Napa campus site, we have also prenatal care, which not all sites have. So we do a lot of women's health care on this site. So we have a beautiful new clinic here, and let me show you our floor. Hi, Judy. This is one of our fabulous medical assistants, Judy. She knows a lot about women's health. She helps us a lot during our, we have 2 consultant OBGYNs that come in every week, and she works with them very closely, so she knows a lot about women's health. And this is where we have this open team room where we're able to consult with each other throughout the day. So if we're on the computer doing work, we usually have providers that are near each other, not as near as before COVID, but still we're in one room so that we can easily work together. And this is one room, for example, where nobody is, so you can come in here. This is our beautiful sliding door. Makes it more calm for our patients. So almost all the patients, when they come in, as soon as we do this maneuver, which is to put them in position for an exam, they go, wow, this place is so nice. I was a physical therapist before I was a doctor. And I did some work actually in Burmese refugee camp years ago. And I actually helped this midwife deliver babies because I didn't have enough help while we were there. And I helped deliver this one baby with a woman who had malaria. And I was so inspired by this woman and that care that I realized that I wanted to do women's health care. And so I came back from that service and came back to California and started medical school. And so I thought at first I would become an OBGYN, but fell in love with family medicine. And then within family medicine, women's health is so, so important. So I really feel like in many societies, women can be the sort of solid force in the family and the foundation of a family. So if I believe in family medicine, I feel like often it can start with the woman. And so when we have healthy women, we also have healthy families. And when we have healthy families, we have healthy communities. And so I really believe that here at OLE, it's super important for our families in Napa to get care here. And often our families can get it together. So they get women's health care, but they also can bring their kiddos in to see pediatricians. So I love that part of women's health, having it be integrated into medical care. I moved to the Valley 9 years ago. And before I worked here, I actually still worked in San Francisco at UCSF. But I went to events in the Valley, and what I noticed from the very beginning is everybody I talked to about OLE loved OLE Health. So I could be at a wine event, and there would be people who donated to OLE Health because they love it so much. So I also, could run into people at the store who say they go there and they're proud to be here. So I had heard about OLE. And I also heard about it even back at UCSF because OLE had started some amazing primary care workflows that other people modeled all throughout the country. So I knew OLE before I got here. And now 9 years later, it continues to be the same. Everywhere I go, people love this clinic. And it feels great to be able to provide care for people in my community. I'd never really done that before because I'd only worked in cities. So that's why I love it. OLE Health provides something that nobody else is really able to in this community for women's health care, and it's comprehensive women's health care. So we are able to provide for any woman contraceptive counseling that's really comprehensive. We're able to provide birth control at no cost if women don't have insurance. That's not something everybody's able to provide. So that's super important. People can get their pap smears and mammograms here in their patient-centered medical home without having to go off to another appointment to see another OBGYN provider. In that same realm, they're able to get a pregnancy test here during their primary care visit. And if they end up having a positive pregnancy test, and that is a positive thing for them in their life, we can then pull in perinatal services to talk about nutrition in their pregnancy. We can even ask our nurse midwife to come in and meet them, and they can get their prenatal care throughout their pregnancy here at their own patient-centered medical home. So I love that we can give that kind of care here. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback from patients that they love being here with the people they know throughout all of those different types of services.
Thank you so much, Dr. Layton. Again, really speaking to the importance of feeling that you can be cared for in a safe environment and have those relationships with your care team. We do have one question that is asking if our clinic has received FQHC accreditation, which is a federally qualified health center. We have been a federally qualified health center since 2005. I'm also curious if you could speak to the fact that we offer midwifery and what that means to our patients and what other options they have in that regard.
Yeah, so we have currently 2 nurse midwives, and we are the only people in the Valley that provide midwifery care for prenatal care. We have also amazing OBGYNs in the Valley, so not to speak of that as superior, but just that some people really prefer work with nurse midwives who do tons of education and are known for spending extra time with their patients and really getting to know their patients. And other countries may have models that are similar to nurse midwifery care. So some of our patients really prefer to be able to see midwives here at the clinic. So we offer that special service here.
And do you see any barriers for our patients in coming in for routine or preventative care? And if so, how do you address those?
I see tons of barriers for people getting into care. A lot of barriers that we have in this community are language barriers or just medical literacy barriers. People who are new to our country or maybe are not, don't feel that they're part of the community as much. So tons of barriers there. I think I could go on and on with barriers. But I think we try to address a lot of them by one, we have such an amazing staff. Most of our staff is bilingual and they will help our staff that's not bilingual. We try to give all of our women's health information out in Spanish and English. We do have transportation, for example, can be a barrier. So our care coordinators are capable of coordinating transportation for people to get in here. Just tons of education, I guess, is all we can truly do. Also, some barriers are that people don't know we're here, for example, for birth control. And so we have done tons of work with community providers, OBGYNs, and at the Queen of the Valley to try to get the word out that people can get birth control here, which has been super successful.
Great. Well, you have a couple questions related to our most significant barrier right now, which is the pandemic and how that relates to prenatal care and pregnancy. So 2 sort of related questions. One is that there's a suspicion that perhaps with people being home, there may have been an increase in the rate of pregnancy. And if you're seeing any change in how women are seeking prenatal care during the pandemic.
Right. So I can't speak to numbers. Actually, I'm not sure if there's been an uptick in numbers of pregnancies, and I'm not sure about how late in care people are coming. But I do know the model of care is just so much different. Mostly what I've seen is that people love to come into their prenatal care appointments and get their ultrasound. And especially at the beginning of the pandemic, when we were trying to figure out how to provide care, a lot of people were not able to come in for all those appointments. Partners weren't able to come in for their appointments. And so it was a huge change at first that was actually hard to do because we really love to be in the same room with our patients and make bonds with our patients and help them feel trusted in our care. But I have seen some positives at this point are that we are able to, in women's healthcare in general, we're actually able to reach out to people by phone Sometimes it's really hard to get into an appointment. So we're finding there are a lot of things that we're able to address on the phone, and they don't have to come into their appointment. If they have 3 kids at home and they just want to know how to deal with a problem they're having with their birth control, for example, and we can counsel them on the phone, that's been super helpful. And then some of our prenatal care appointments are a lot about education, and that's something that we've been able to do over the phone. And as we've learned to deal more with COVID, we've been able to allow more people come in for their appointments. So it's evening out a little bit. But I'm not sure actually if people are coming in late. That's a really good question.
Great. Yes. And I think something that we should continue to watch, since we don't know just exactly how long we'll be in this situation. But I do know that Dr. Layton and her team do an amazing job trying to bring patients in early and really make sure that they're cared for. So thank you for all that you do. I'm going to move us on now from women's health to pediatrics, which is a closely related topic. As I mentioned before, we do see quite a few children here. Dr. Tessa Wyborny, who is part of our pediatrics department, is unfortunately not able to be with us here today. So if you do have questions, I'm happy to do my best to answer them. But she does an amazing job with her own overview about what pediatric care looks like, and I think provides one of the most comprehensive examples of what the integrated care model can do for a child and a family who comes in for care. So introducing Dr. Wyborny.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tessa Wyborny. I'm one of the pediatricians, and I've been here since August of 2015. I actually graduated my residency in 2015, and then I started here about a month later. So I've been here for about 5 years. I just celebrated my 5-year anniversary. I came to OLE Health specifically because I loved the way that people work together. It felt like a family environment, and I have been fortunate enough to kind of feel like a part of that family over the last 5 years. And I really, after residency, wanted to work in community healthcare just because I want to be able to impact the entire community. And I love taking care of patients of our demographic. And so I love taking care of our Latino patients, our patients who may come from disadvantaged backgrounds, who may not always be able to access care as easily as other people do. And so I really have enjoyed being able to kind of help bridge that gap for some of our healthcare disparities that happen. And so, yeah, just love working here. So the Department of Pediatrics sees anyone from birth through age 18. Sometimes we see patients all the way up till age 21, depending if they have a chronic medical condition that might need sort of a more pediatric friendly model. We also serve as consultants to our family medicine and nurse practitioner and PA colleagues, just consulting on cases of pediatrics. It is routine for me to be seeing patients, get pulled away to see a rash, and then come back to seeing my own patients. And that's something that all of the pediatricians are available for. We also do, so I do circumcisions. That's one of one of my special skill sets. And we also do a lot of managing of ADHD and school problems as well. We're here seeing a lot of physicals. So a lot of school physicals, giving a lot of shots, making sure our babies are up to date on their shots. And just in general, serving as consultants to our colleagues. Around the corner are my 3 rooms. So I have rooms 1, 2, and 3, which are the closest to my desk, which is ideal since I'm always running back and forth. Each room is pretty much the same. There's no rooms that are more special than the others. We kind of keep some of our pediatric friendly scales here because we don't weigh the babies on the bed because every ounce matters. And then we also have an additional computer here just in case we're running out of a room and we forget to do something we need to print. And then our checkout station is right over here. So they will check out and head out this way. So just today, I actually had a patient, actually 2 siblings who live over on Gasser Drive with their parents. They were able to walk here. It was super convenient for them. We hadn't seen them in a couple of years, so there were a couple of things we needed to take care of, and we were able to take care of that all here in this building. So number one, I referred them to nutrition. So we are actually going to follow up with them for nutrition. We also have nutritionists here in this building. I did refer them to behavioral health as well. Behavioral health also located in this building, although we're doing a lot more online now due to quarantine reasons. They both needed glasses because they had both broke their glasses. So I was actually able to send them downstairs to make an appointment with optometry. I sent them to the lab after that. And then we also made appointments for dental. And all of those were located here, which is super convenient. Mom was really happy that she could just walk here, or she could send her 17-year-old here to get her labs drawn tomorrow morning with ease. Thank you guys so much for supporting our beautiful building here and supporting our organization. Your donations really do change people's lives. They're contributing to our patients being able to access special services, and OLE Health is really a unique organization with its ability to have so many different things in one building, and in addition to have so many different subspecialties that we can offer to our patients. It is really helping the community, and our patients are super thankful.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wyborny. And again, I'm sorry that she's not here with us tonight to answer questions in person, but I think her interview spoke for itself in really highlighting how pediatrics works and how we provide care for our children in a way that is truly comprehensive and integrated. We do have a couple more stories coming up, but before we do, I wanted to refer back to one question that we had on the chat, which was about HIV services, which we don't touch on this evening, but we do in fact provide HIV care and have some specialists who can provide that care. So that's another service available to our community as well. Our next topic is behavioral health. This is an area that I am incredibly passionate about. The need is so great. And again, with having behavioral health here in our medical home, one of the benefits is that it reduces stigma. We believe that health is health. Your mental health, your physical health, your oral health is all part of what makes you well. And so we treat it the same. Jamie Bon Jovi, our Director of Behavioral Health, does an excellent job speaking to our model and really talking about how much the demand has continued to increase and how much support we need to continue to expand access to behavioral health services.
Hi, my name is Jamie Bon Jovi, and I work as the Director of Behavioral Health here at OLE. And I'm going to give you a tour of we're really fortunate. We have a nice little wing here for behavioral health in our beautiful new building. We are also located in the other facilities, but today we're here. Well, I've worked in multiple mental health situations, mostly within the mental health system. But integrated care really excites me, and it's one of the reasons why I came here to OLE. Behavioral health integration is so important because we're really looking at the whole person. A lot of times, the history of mental health is that mental health and physical health are siloed, and the beauty of integration is that we really look at the whole person, and that's what we do here at OLE. So we sort of look at it as a tiered system for behavioral health. We start off with what's amazingly helpful, and we can do warm handoffs right in the exam room. So if somebody's here with a primary care provider and they're feeling really anxious, or maybe not even anxious, they're not taking their medications as they should be, or they've just been given a diagnosis for a brand new chronic disease, we can actually go right in the exam room and talk with the patient. So it's about 15 minutes, and we triage to make sure everyone is safe, get them an appointment if they need an appointment, maybe do a brief intervention, breathing exercises, and then make sure that they get to where they need to go. We also have provide brief therapy, so we can make appointments to see a therapist for brief therapy, and that's about up to 10 sessions. And all of our therapists do 1 day of long-term therapy, and that's up to 24 sessions. We found that the more you refer someone out of OLE, the more of a chance they fall through the cracks. So we try to keep people here as much as possible. We're really fortunate to have, I think, 5 bilingual therapists here, 2 of which do those warm handoffs that I was talking about. And since almost 50% of our patients are Spanish speaking only, when it comes to mental health especially, it's really important that that the person not only knows the culture, but also understands the language. So we have the 2 bilingual people who do warm handoffs, and also have 3 other therapists who are bilingual. And we also have English speaking only therapists as well. Once we went virtual really quickly, behavioral health, because we could. We didn't know what we were doing at first, but that we quickly came up to speed. We almost doubled our number of visits that we were seeing. Patients, besides the fact that this is so hard for people in general, it's really hard with COVID. It was exceptionally hard to add wildfires to that. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of trauma-related symptoms, a lot of depression. And so more of our patients definitely needed our services. But not only that, they were able to get it really conveniently. So they don't have to worry about transportation. Often transportation is an issue. They could, on their lunch break, they could call for an appointment. They don't have to worry about childcare. So it made a huge difference to our patient population. Maribel Bravo, who is our behavioral health program navigator, has a really close relationship with the social worker over at St. Joseph's Queen of the Valley. Whenever there's somebody that comes in to the ED there, they collaborate. And so he calls, and this time he had called because someone presented to the emergency room, was not feeling well, suicidal. And Maribel immediately recognized the name because she had been working with one of our primary care providers with this patient, trying to get them into county mental health. And she had been in contact with county mental health, and they were having a really difficult time engaging this patient. They went to the shelter and they weren't able to speak with him. Maribel was able to get the caseworker's name over at County Mental Health and give all of that information to the social worker over at Queen of the Valley, who was able to put a care plan together for whenever the patient showed up again at the ED. And then she was able to get that patient to County Mental Health. We just have a great relationship with them. They called Maribel and really were so pleased and thanked her for helping this patient. And that kind of stuff happens all the time here.
Thank you so much, Jamie. I love that you shared the story of how we partner with our local hospitals, as well as our county mental health systems and our local nonprofits. We really do integrate within our own system, and you, with your leadership, strive to make sure that the entire system is fully integrated to help best support our patients. So that was an amazing story, and thank you. We did get a question about whether or not we issue 5150s or if we refer those to the emergency departments.
No, we don't do that ourselves. We get often if it's here, we might have the police come over and help us, or we actually will send somebody over to crisis, which is probably what we do more often than anything, and they can help facilitate the 5150.
So with the 200% increase in demand, how has your team responded, knowing they're under their own stress, own challenges that are going on? How have you and your team been able to respond to this overwhelming need from our community right now?
We have an incredible team who are so dedicated to take care of our patients at OLE. But we really, myself and our behavioral health manager, realize that they are also going through the same stressors. And so because of that, we go out of our way to make sure that they're okay. We are consistently talking about taking care, self-care. We have weekly supervision. We talk about the importance of taking a day off if you need to just take the day off. We do breathing exercises. We meditate before every meeting. And so we have that at the top of our mind all the time.
Thank you so much, Jamie. And I can speak to that as well. She has been, and her team, an amazing resource, not only for our community, but for our staff as well. So all that she just described, she's been leading in services and trainings for all of our employees who are caregivers, and also trying to come day in and day out and keep their energy up. So thank you for both your internal and external support and all the expertise that you've brought to OLE.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for your support.
Thank you, Jamie. Our next feature is our community outreach program. It's a conversation with our outreach and volunteer coordinator, Guadalupe Villaseñor, another incredibly committed and very long tenured employee of 22 years. This is one of those areas where sometimes I'm not sure our community truly realizes the breadth and the depth of services that we provide. She's here to share the incredible impact that we've had over the years addressing food insecurity, bringing services out into the community to those who may have challenges or barriers coming to us, making that link and that bridge to anyone who needs care. Her story is inspiring. The work is amazing. So thank you so much, Lupe, for all that you do.
I am Guadalupe Villaseñor, and I'm the Community Outreach and Volunteer Program for OLE Health. I've been with OLE Health for now 22 years, and in the last 22 years, I have grown with the clinic. I've seen the clinic grow from one small community health clinic to a federally qualified health center, and now serving 7 sites within Napa and Solano County. And why do I do what I do? I love my job. I love going out to the community, having that connection, that one-on-one with that person, doing health care screenings, doing fruits and veggies, serving our vulnerable population. And if I can be able to have at least one person control their blood sugar levels and connect them to the right resources with OLE Health, then that satisfies me, and it motivates me to continue to do what I actually do and I love doing, which is helping out in the community. At OLE Health, the outreach program consists of doing health care screenings within the community, the farm worker housing units, low-income housing units. We do fruits and veggies every 3rd Friday of the month. We do pop-up clinics. We do town hall meetings. Just anywhere that we can be out and about and let the community know what the services that we offer, I will be there. We served in 2019, we were able to serve about 6,000 individuals. This includes from doing outreach events, from doing fruits and veggies, resource events, setting up a table. But just in the 2019 with fruits and veggies, we were serving about 1,512 families, and we served 5,186. This year, just with our fruits and veggies, our numbers have more than doubled. And we've actually served, as of January till October, 3,246 families and about 13,257 individuals. With doing the food distributions due to COVID-19, there was a lot of families left with unemployment. They weren't able to provide food for their families on their table. So by OLE Health being able to provide these food distributions, thanks to donors like you, we're able to serve 9,672 families and 42,097 individuals just by providing a bag of grocery foods to a family that was in need. I want to thank each and every one of you for your support that you've shown with OLE Health and the Community Outreach and Volunteer Program. Without you, this program would not exist. So thank you so much. Please keep donating so that we can continue serving our community And the more we can serve, the better and healthier lifestyle we can provide to each of our patients.
All right, here we go. Yeah. Thank you, Lupe. Those visuals of the number of cars waiting and the number of bags distributed are just amazing. 42,000 individuals served immediately following shelter in place. Your team just stepped up to the challenge, and it was so inspiring to see the work that you did. I know you spoke about the giveaway program that we've had for many years at our Pear Tree Lane location, as well as what you do in the community. I know recently you added something at South Napa campus as well. Can you speak to what that was like and how it was received by our community?
Yes, of course. Good evening, everyone. We did launch our very first fruits and veggies at our South Napa campus on our very first Tuesday of the month. It was different from our Pear Tree Lane. This was all an evening event. We're kind of worried how that was going to work, but we were able to manage to do this event from 5 to 7, and it was a good outcome. I was actually very surprised that we had a line of cars already getting ready, waiting for us to start giving out these the fruits and veggies. We were able to serve about 300 families, about 1,500 individuals that day. And we did have a little bit left over, and I didn't let it go to waste. I came back the next day and I set up a small station near our garden at the South Napa campus, and I was able to distribute another 58 bags to the homeless community and to patients that were coming out of their appointments. So I was very, very happy and pleased with the turnout.
Wow, that really speaks to the overwhelming need right now. We did have a question about the outreach program to schools, if we have a program and if we are focused on particularly the lower grades, discussing food, positive eating options, providing education and access.
Right now, we don't have anything specific to the schools. Like I said, the fruits and veggies, we're serving all the families. The volunteer program is going to be growing, so hopefully with that program and volunteers, I'll be more out in the community, trying to reach out to the schools, different agencies, being out in the community. We want to make sure that people know that OLE Health is here, we're open, and we're ready to serve wherever the need is.
Absolutely, and I think you can hear and see Lupe's dedication. This is one of our programs that is 100% donor funded. We don't receive any other form of financial support. So everything that we're able to do and the ways that we're able to expand or add new programs, such as in the schools, would come from support from donors like yourselves. So this is part of why we want to provide the education of just how critical these services are. And before we go to our last feature of the evening, Lupe, I want to ask you one final question that we didn't touch on, but how you and your team responded in response to the glass fire and what your work was in our evacuation sites and how you represented OLE.
Well, during the fires, we were still out there doing our fruits and veggies. We made sure that everybody was wearing the proper mask, and the need was still there. I was able to volunteer some time over at the crosswalk. I saw the need, and I was able to do some volunteer hours there. I was so excited to be there. There's always a need, and if I can be out there, I'm going to try to do my best to represent OLE Health in the best way that I can. Make sure that they know that we're out there, and wherever the need is, I'm going to try to do my best to make sure that that I represent OLE Health the best way possible.
Thank you so much, Lupe. And you do that time and time and time again. And also something that Lupe didn't mention is her and her team's ability to be that bilingual support. Many times when people are in crisis or in times of anxiety, to see a familiar face, a trusted face, and have someone that they can communicate with in their native language makes a huge difference. So thank you to you and your team, Lupe.
Thank you, everyone. And we wouldn't be able to do this without you. So I appreciate and thank you so much for all you do for us.
Thank you. So our final feature of the night is our tour of our South Napa campus dental department. So this is 9 brand new state-of-the-art dental operatories. By building these operatories here in this building, we more than doubled our capacity to serve our dental patients in Napa County. We really have been able to add 250 to 300 more appointments per month than we could last year. And we are really, again, the only option for people who do not have insurance or who might be on Denti-Cal to come in and get their dental care. So I'm very happy to introduce our Chief Dental Officer, Dr. Villanova, to show off his suite and talk about his services.
Hello, everyone. I'm Vince Villanova. I'm the Chief Dental Officer here at OLE. And before I start discussing about our dental department, I want to say thank you. Thank you for participating in this virtual event. Thank you for your support of OLE, of our dental department, but most of all, your support of our patients in our community. We really enjoy treating our patients, but without your support, we wouldn't be doing half the stuff that we're doing. So thank you very much. So let's go in and we'll show you around the dental suite here at South Napa campus. So our dental suite here at South Napa campus, we have 9 operatories, and they're set up in groups of 3 so that we can have a dentist in each pod with a dental assistant, and also a registered dental assistant also. And then we'll just keep walking through, and it's one big circle. And as we go through here, I'll just show you some highlights of what we have and where we're going with our department. So we have our room here to take what's called a pantograph X-ray, and that takes the all around your head and allows us to see everything between your ears and your jaw bones. And it's very non-invasive for our patients. And right here, what we'll do is we'll just show a few of our suites. And as if we can take a view of this, you can sort of see how the 3 suites are set up in a row here. This is our dental sterilization area. This is our dirty area, and then it sweeps around into the clean area. We have state-of-the-art autoclaves, and we here at the South Napa campus, we have a technician who's just dedicated to do our sterilization. One of the things that we're doing here in dental, along with providing dental care, is one of our goals or number of goals we have for this year is to have a better collaboration with our medical department. We are going to try to do more coordinated care with our patients who have a diagnosis of diabetes to be sure that they're getting dental treatment done, because there is a correlation with blood glucose levels and periodontal disease. We're also making sure that we are going to have easier access for our patients who are pregnant, because there is a correlation with periodontal disease and low birth weight babies. And also we're with our behavioral health, especially during this whole year, and with our fires, with our COVID, there's been a lot of behavioral health issues. So actually, we're going to even try to do some screening here in our dental department. And also on the other side, we are going to work with dental anxiety. For some reason, when patients come to see us, there's a fear of dentistry. There's some kind of anxiety. I don't see it, but I know that some people experience it. And one of the things we're going to try to do is to get those patients who are really high anxious for dental treatment to be able to work with our behavioral health specialist, and to maybe to decrease that anxiety to allow them to have their dental treatment done. So I just want to end with a patient story, how we're working together with other groups. A number of months ago, we had a patient that came into our dental facility here, had an appointment for an extraction. And when our dental assistant brought the patient back to the room, and she had known the patient, noticed that he wasn't talking as much. And she was getting things ready for this extraction, and took his blood pressure and asked him a few questions. And he commented that he had some suicidal ideations. And right there, she stopped and was talking to him a little bit more and asked him if he wanted us to get someone for him to talk to. And he wasn't too sure, but he wanted to proceed with the extraction because he wanted to get the tooth removed. And after a while, he actually ended up saying, "Yeah, I think I do need to talk to someone." And at that time, they actually they kept him in the room. We went over and they got Jamie Bon Jovi, our director of behavioral health, who immediately came down for a warm handoff, spoke to the patient right into our room, and then took him for a session, and had some discussions with him in the behavioral health area. 2 weeks later, he came back for a post-operative and another appointment, and he brings a little plant. I think it might be around here somewhere, for our staff, and just to say thank you for just listening to him. And I think that's what we have here. We enjoy teeth. We like to treat teeth and do everything for the oral cavity, but it is the whole person, and that's what we're here for. We're here for the whole person, and we're here for the community.
Thank you, Dr. Villanova. Very well said. We are here for the whole person in all aspects of health. But to go back to dental specifically for a moment, we've all been hard hit by COVID and had to readjust how we're providing care. But no service more than dental has had to make significant adjustments. I wonder if you could speak just a little bit about how your department has adapted and how you've been able to continue to provide care despite the elevated risks.
Thank you for having me here this evening, and thank you for all of you attending virtually to this event. Yes, dentistry as a profession has been hit hardest by the COVID pandemic. At first, we were because of CDC recommendation, public health recommendations, dentistry was just being able to see emergency only patients. And what we did there is we also pivoted to start doing some dental televideo and telephone phone calls for patients who either we outreach to them, or also patients who called in who were having situations, and we sort of triage them over the phone because there was the worry about people coming in and out of our facilities or just even traveling at that time. Since then, we have started, it took a couple of months, we have started our fillings again. That's one of the issues. We have increased our equipment to mitigate the aerosols, because there's a concern that maybe the virus could be up into the aerosols as we're doing treatment. So we have these extraoral suction machines that we purchased. We also increased the suction capacity of our intraoral suction machines. We also are using rubber dams more, which is isolation of a tooth when you're treating. We have we do pre-procedural rinses. Our staff is fully with the personal protective equipment. They have all that to keep our patients safe. We are also limiting the amount of patients that we have in our dental suites and also in our waiting rooms. So we are. Unfortunately, it has impacted our visits, our access to care. Where prior to COVID, the dentists were probably scheduling 13, 14 patients. Now we're probably scheduling 8 patients a day. And that's unfortunate because of the effect that it has on our patients. But hopefully, as we learn more about the virus, as we learn more about our workflows, maybe we can increase that access a bit more. But it's ever evolving.
Yes, well, thank you for taking those challenges head on. I know it has not been easy. Something that has seemed somewhat easy despite the pandemic for you is continuing to recruit amazing dental providers and amazing team. Can you speak to the quality of your staff and who you have on board?
Well, I can finally say that as far as our dentists, we are fully staffed. Recently, we had two dentists who just finished their residency programs. Both of them are native Napians, which I'm really proud to say. One is Dr. Beauregard Story. He went to Loma Linda Dental School and also did a residency program at the VA down there in Loma Linda or Los Angeles area. And he started just 4 months ago. And then also we have Dr. Jose Carrasco, and he went to Berkeley undergrad and UCSF Dental School and did his residency at La Clinica in Pittsburgh. So, and he just started 2 months ago. It is so, it's amazing to have two colleagues, of mine here that were from the area that came back home to treat their community, to give back to their community, and it's just been a terrific time, for me anyways, to see that. And also 3 of our dentists today, you were talking about the service awards yesterday or earlier. 3 of our dentists just completed their 5 years here at OLE, and we are able to hopefully retain this good core nucleus that we have, and they also are good mentors to our new docs that are coming in. So we've been very fortunate with that. So I'm very happy with that.
Thank you. I did plant that question because I wanted to end on a high note of the quality, again, of the staff that we employ and the people that we have taking care of our patients. Folks that come in that want to be a part of OLE, many times they've been patients themselves. Their parents have been patients. They recall memories of translating for their patients. They know what it felt like to be treated with respect, to be made to feel valued, and to be cared for. So we do hire only people who will live and breathe that mission, similar to every single employee and provider that you heard from tonight. I think it's safe to say that you now all from attending this event have the most insider view of OLE Health, our inner workings, the true value of the model that we offer. Please spread the story and let other people know about the amazing work that we're doing, because as many people said this evening, we could not do half of what we do without your support. And it's your donations and your contributions that allow us to expand for more patient access, more services, more programs, and now more than ever, it's something that our community so desperately needs. So I just end by saying thank you for being here. Thank you for spending the time. Thank you for recognizing the importance of the work we do here at OLE Health, because we are, especially in 2020, all in this together.